What's going on, everyone? SurgicalSnipes here, back at it again with another Diablo Immortal video. What is going on, everyone? In this video, I'm going to be reviewing and recapping the Bout of Realms Challenge of Equals. All right, the Bout of Realms Challenge of Equals just ended. It just ended a couple days ago. And yeah, the Bout of Realms Challenge of Equals is done. And I want to talk about it. I want to talk about the team that won. I want to talk about the leaderboards on the top teams that won, and what else? And my experience in the Bout of Realms. All right, so let's start from the beginning. Let's start with the top team that won the entire event. So let's check it out here. So we go to the events section here. Is it still open? Let's see. Bout of Realms Challenge of Equals. All right. So this is the winning team in the Bout of Realms Challenge of Equals. The very first Challenge of Equals tournament in Diablo Immortal. Right? We've had a couple of Bout of Realms already that were pay to win. That should be just called Bout of Credit Cards. If you guys understand the joke, you guys know what I'm talking about. But yeah, those past couple of Bout of Realms were pretty much the pay to win tournaments, right? And this team here has won a couple of those already. And sure enough, they went into the Bout of Realms Challenge of Equals, and they won the whole thing also here. So this is the team. Here's the team photo. It says right there, Bout of Realms champion team. Congratulations to the server of Darkening of Tristram. Servers team, Globetrotters on winning. All right, so this is the Globetrotters. These are the Globetrotters, the winning team that needs no introduction if you're a Diablo Immortal. If you follow Diablo Immortal Bout of Realms, you guys will know who this guy, who this team is. So this is the best team in the game, not just in the region, but in the whole in the world, pretty much. And yeah, this is the best team. They've won a couple pay to win Bout of Realms, and then they won the new one, the current one, which is the Challenge of Equals. So they're the team to beat. They're the world champions pretty much, or the region champions for the Bout of Realms Challenge of Equals. For the NA East, right? For the East, from the East Coast, but because right, West Coast and East Coast had their own separate ones. It was separated by West and East, but in general, overall, this is the team to beat in the whole game. Because they proved it in their previous Bout of Realms performances. So this is the team here. You got Adarna, Teki, Sneaky Tashi, Cold, Ludra, Skittles, Factor, and Foot. Foot or Foot. I don't know. All right, so that's the team. The Team Globetrotters, all right? They won the whole thing, and yeah, that's it. Here's your Bout of Realms Challenge of Equals champion team. All right, now, there are a bunch of players out there, and I'm not taking anything away from this team, right? Like, they won their tournaments, right? Whether it was pay to win or not in those other tournaments, or in this one where, a lot of players were saying that this Bout of Equals, this so-called Bout of Equals tournament wasn't equal at all. So, they're saying that, the stats are different for other people. And I can confirm this because not only because when I was playing in it, how I felt when I was in there, how the game played, as far as how much damage I was doing or how much damage I was taking from my opponents. But also, when I applied to some top teams, they were denying me because they were denying my application to join, my request to join the team because of my stats. They're saying they were talking about stats. My stats were being too low. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. This is challenge of equals, right? Aren't all the stats the same? And then all these players are saying that it's not a 100% fair play, same stats, even match like the matches in Conqueror PvP, right? Conqueror PvP. In this one, all the stats are the same. No secondaries, no familiars, none of that stuff. No runes, no charms, no resonance, none of that. Now in the challenge of equals, they disabled a bunch of the stuff, like the main ones, like the resonance and a lot of the other stuff, but they didn't disable familiars and the secondaries. People were having different secondaries because it wasn't a fair tournament. People had different stats, right? And I even asked AI about this shit, and they confirmed it. So all these players are saying it. I'm saying it also, that the Bout of Realms Challenge of Equals was not a fair play, same stats, 100% fair play, same stats tournament. And yeah, we got to fix that because if it's going to be labeled as Challenge of Equals, as the free to play, fair play, whatever you want to call it, tournament, then it should be exactly that. Nobody should be having not even one more stat higher than the other, because then it becomes an unlegit PvP tournament, right? Like all the other previous Bout of Realms. All the Bout of Realms tournaments were unlegit PvP tournaments, right? And that's the truth, right? And I'm sure there's a bunch of whales out there that are going to get annoyed by me saying this, but they know what I'm talking about, and this is nothing new. So I don't know why they would get mad when a player like me says this, because it's the truth. So if it's the truth, then why would they get mad about? Maybe they think I'm trying to discredit or delegitimize what they're doing, but it's not their fault that the tournament's like that. It's not on them. So I'm not blaming them for competing in a pay to win tournament. When that's what that's what it is, right? The bout of credit cards. So those are the previous boards, right? But in this one, most of the pay to win stuff was mitigated or removed, I should say. But there were still ways for people to have higher secondaries or stronger familiars or whatever it is that they were doing to have the advantage still in their stats. Okay, and that's a fact. Okay, now let's look here at the leaderboards here. Right, there's two leaderboards in the Bout of Realms. Right, you have the in the Challenge of Equals, you have the overall leaderboard here. You have the top 10 teams. I'm going to show the top 10 teams here in NA East, in North America East. All right, and then you have the Bout of Realms, Challenge of Equals. These are the top 10 teams on the local side in the server that I'm in, which is the Treasure Goblin server cluster. So everyone here is going to be from the same server cluster here. So this is the top 10 team of the Treasure Goblin server cluster that I'm in right now currently. All right, so let's look more at the overall leaderboard here, right? There's a big discrepancy here. There's a big difference, net differential, right? You see here, it shows the team name, the server that they're playing on, that they're from, and how many points they scored, and the net differential, okay? So if you look at the net differential here between the number one team and everybody else, you can see that they have almost double the score double the score than everybody in the NA East, in the East Coast, right? And then the number one team on the West Coast, I believe, had over 9K points or 9K net differential. Okay, so number one team on the East had 11.3K net differential, and then the number one team on the West side, on the West Coast, had around 9K, 9 point something in the net differential. See, so where am I going with this? Well, let's talk about this team here, right? The Globetrotters. I mean, double the net differential. You know, the team that got close to them, which is the Monstars here, they had 9.3K net differential, right? So those two teams are the ones that were pulling in the big net differential numbers, right? Now, you know, I'm a good player, right? Well, I'm not going to brag and boast about it, but you guys know I'm the number one player of the entire game, all right? And if a team is getting double the score, almost pretty much double the score, double the net differential than everybody else, you know, we gotta you know, we gotta freaking make sure we gotta review some shit here. We gotta make sure this is legit. You know what I'm saying? We gotta make sure, because it doesn't add up. You know, it doesn't. You can have the perfect teamwork and all that shit, but you know, when you're denying people from getting even one tower, maybe, I'm not saying it's not legit. Well, technically it's not legit, not from their part, but I'm saying it's not legit as far as the stats being different. You know, we have to put this into, we have to get think about this for a second. You know, I mean, can they be that good? Can they be that good at the game? All of those 8 players, are these guys that good at the game that they're able to pretty much double the net differential than everybody else? Right? I'm not saying let me make myself clear here. I'm not saying that they're doing anything as far as cheating or anything like that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, since the Bout of Realms is not legit, because if they have the max stats, all these guys are wells, right? So if they have the max stuff that they can put on their gear and everything like that, then those advantages are gonna really show. And that's what it looks like here. What it looks like is that these guys are equipping the maximum shit possible, and it's giving them that stats advantage or whatever against everybody else who doesn't have that shit equipped. Okay? Now, I'm not, like I said, I'm not accusing them of cheating, right? I'm not accusing them of cheating at all. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, though, but because the tournament isn't a 100% fair play, same stats tournament like the Conqueror PvP event, because in Conqueror PvP, everything's disabled, right? There's no secondaries at all. There's no familiars. There's no nothing like that. If these guys are equipping the maximum stuff possible, right, because they're able to, and it's showing, it's registering like that, and it's giving them an advantage, well, then there you go. It's not a fair play PvP tournament, right? So because this is how they're going to get this more than double the score than everybody else, double the net differential here, right? Now, in the previous Bout of Realms, it was anything goes, right? People were going in there with 10, 11, 12, 13K res characters, right? And then they were just all duking it out in the Well Wars. Whereas here in the Challenge of Equals, I believe that because these guys are rocking the maximum gear possible, it's giving them that stats advantage. You see what I'm saying? But what I'm saying here though is, of course, I'm not saying that they're cheating. I'm not saying that they're cheating. Okay, it's just the way the game is. It's just the way the Bout of Realms is set up, right? So what is my suggestion here? What is my recommendation here for all this to Blizzard? You know, you guys were advertising this as a challenge of equals, tournament, but it wasn't 100% equal, right? Like the Conqueror PvP here, right? This is, if you make it like Conqueror PvP, right here, this one, then no one can say that it wasn't legit, that it wasn't a that it wasn't a fair play tournament. You know, they would say that it is a fair play tournament because everything would be zero, right? All the stats would be zero. Everything would be all zeros across the board. No secondaries, no extra stats, no nothing. It's just the level 10 legendary gems. That's it. And the set items. Okay, now in Conquer PvP, there's only 6 gear slots and 6 set item slots, right? So I would suggest to just make it 8, everything 8, like the current, like right here, everything all 8. 8 gear slots, 8 set items, just like in Battlegrounds. All the gems would be level 10. And for the players who don't even have those gems, like the gems that they need for their build, right? Maybe they need some 5-star gems for their build or something. I would also recommend to make all the gems available for people to use, for players to use in their build when they're making their builds. If we do it like that, if Blizzard does it like that, and the challenge of equals in the next Bout of Realms challenge of equals, then no one can say that it wasn't legit. Right now, people can say that it wasn't legit, right? Because let's be honest here, it wasn't legit, you know? So that's what I'm saying with this, y'all. Like, I know I said this before, but I'm just saying that I'm not accusing any of the top teams in the West or the East or any of the first place teams or top 10 teams that won the tournament. I'm not accusing them of cheating. I'm saying that because they're allowed to equip the maximum gear possible, that's going to affect the stats difference and on the stats, right? And this, I mean, come on now. 11.3K net differential. This other team, the Monstars, 9.3K net differential. This is pretty much around the same score, the 9K score that the number 1 team in the West had. You know, and these are all heavy spenders. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of suspicious, you know what I'm saying? Not on their part, like I said, right? Because we all know they're equipping the maximum shit possible, right? Because they're allowed to, right? They paid for it. They're going to equip it if they can. Okay, so all I'm saying is that if you make it Conquer PvP rules, this leaderboard's going to look a whole lot different, let me tell you. Right? Because then all the stats will be the same for real. You know, PvP, Conquer PvP is the real fair play PvP game mode. The fairest PvP game mode that Diablo Immortal has ever had. Right? There's also Alley of Blood, which normalizes everything also, which normalizes the stats also. But Alley of Blood, they have that stacking mechanic where you can stack up a bunch of stuff, and then you get stronger. And then if somebody has like 99 stacks or something, or was it 50 or 99 stacks, you know, they become a juggernaut, and then it's pretty much the match becomes one-sided pretty much. So I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not a big fan of the stacking stuff, the stacking mechanic stuff in PvP. Right? I don't think there should be any situation where a player can stack damage and then he's gonna be able to deal more damage than the other players. No, that's not good either, right? So Conqueror PvP is the way to go. The Conqueror PvP rules, and that's what I thought. That's what I thought the Bout of Realms was going to be. I thought, and a lot of other players thought, that the challenge of equals was going to be exactly like Conqueror PvP rules, right? Because that's what we were expecting. Everything 0, no secondaries, no familiars, none of the extra shit. So it is what it is, y'all. Maybe they'll fix it. Maybe they'll make it exactly like Conquer PvP, or maybe they'll do it exactly the same like the way it is right now, which most likely is going to happen like this again. You know, doesn't matter how much feedback they get, they may just the next challenge of equals event, if there is going to be one, is going to be exactly like this again. But I guarantee you, right? And this isn't me hating on the number one team right now. I get or any of these top teams. I guarantee you, if it's fair, if it's like exactly like Conquer PvP rules, the net differential isn't gonna be freaking double than everybody else's. It's gonna be way lower. You know what I'm saying, right? And don't get me wrong, these players are good, right? They know how to play the game. They're getting their kills. Their teamwork is excellent, right? But I believe they're getting that extra help or the maximum help possible in their stats advantage. So that's what it is, y'all. So those are my thoughts on the Challenge of Equals tournament that just happened. Now, my experience in the Bout of Realms Challenge of Equals this week was that I don't have a team. I don't have a team of mine. I tried to apply to teams, and like I said, some of them denied me because of my stats. I'm like, okay, so this isn't Challenge of Equals then, right? If the top teams are using that as a thing to bar, as a way to bar applicants, then we already know what's going on. So yeah, so I didn't have a team, I tried to ask my clan, but they already had their teams set up and all that. And then I'm like, dude, and this might be like a little bit of an ego thing, but I mean, let's be real here for 1 second, y'all. For those who understand my story, for those who've been following my story, I'm the number one player of the entire game. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm a team leader, right, and the number one player of the entire game, not just in the East, not just in the West, not just in EU or Oceania or any other region, but of the entire world, if the number one player of the entire world messages you or messages me and asks me, hey man, can you guys join, can I join you guys' team? And then of course, if you don't know who I am, and then they're gonna be skeptical, because that's what people do, right? They're skeptical right away, right? They doubt. That's the first thing on their mind, right? It's like a defense mechanism. It's like, hey, they're like, hey, how dare this guy saying he's the number one player? And then I give them proof, right? I tell them to Google number one Diablo Immortal player, and then that leads them to my YouTube videos that shows countless PvP matches in regular battlegrounds and Conqueror PvP, where I get most kills and a bunch of other shit like that. If it checks out, I mean, shit, why wouldn't you want to have that person on your team? You may not like me as my personality, maybe I brag and boast too much or something or whatever. But from a tactical standpoint, right? Like if you really wanted your best chance of winning a Bout of Realms tournament, a fair play one, even though these were not fair play tournaments. If you wanted the best chance possible, why wouldn't I want to have the number one player of the entire game on my team? Right? I mean, it should be a no-brainer, but obviously not. I asked my whole server. I asked the top 30 teams of my server, and not one of them understood what I was saying. Not one of them. Not one of these team leaders in the top 30 teams of my server, in the Treasure Goblin server, understood what the hell I was saying. It's like it went out one ear and out the other. I said, dude, I'm the number one player of the game. I told them, I said, Google number one Diablo Immortal player, or Google number one Diablo player, whatever. And they're like, oh no, we're full. We're full. Oh, your stats are too low. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So after that, I'm like, okay, whatever. So after that, I'm like, okay, I don't have a fucking team. I don't got a team. So what am I going to do? I can't compete in the board without a team. It's 8-on-8. Number one player or not, I ain't going to do jack shit if I don't have a team, right? So I went on World Chat. I went on World Chat, and then I was like, hey, man, is anybody having a team? Does anybody have a team that I can join? And then somebody replied, and he said I can join his team. And then now this brings me to the next part of my video here, which is my experience in the Bout of Realms tournament. Because I did compete in it, right? I did compete. I joined the team. I talked to the team leader. In the beginning, it was all cool. We were talking about the game and all that. And we were talking about strategy and all that. We were talking about recruiting teammates because we, what's it called? Our team, it wasn't a full team. We had like probably 4 or 5 people only. We needed 3 more or 4 more people. We had like half a team pretty much. So we were trying to recruit people. And there were at times when the team got full, but it was just all bad, because people kept leaving. And then a couple of the players weren't even playing. They missed a couple games already. So it was just, I already knew, of course, we had no chance, right? Because it wasn't even a complete team. The only 2 players that were on board 100% were me and the team leader, pretty much, because we were the only ones talking to each other, pretty much, and one more person. But the other person that was talking in the Discord, he didn't really prioritize this thing at all, so he wasn't really in the right mind state to win. So it is what it is. So our ragtag group of people, our ragtag team, we started competing. We started playing. And we did 4 days of it. It was 4 days. We were winning matches. We won more matches than we lost. Right? I think we won 5, lost 4. Up to day 4, right? Because what happened after day 4? Day 4, I didn't show up. I didn't show up for the Bout of Realms. Why? I fell asleep. I didn't set an alarm. I fell asleep, and when I woke up, it was already over. And then I'm like, okay, shit, man. We weren't going to win the fucking thing anyway. So it wasn't that big of a deal. At least for me, it wasn't. But sure enough, I guess it was a big deal for the team leader, because when I woke up, I noticed that I was kicked out of the team's Discord. I was kicked, and then I was kicked out of the team. I was kicked out of the Discord, the team Discord. I was kicked off the team, and the guy unfriended me and blocked me, pretty much, I believe. So I'm like, holy shit, man. I thought we were cool. I thought we were, I explained my story and everything. I thought we were chilling, I thought we were cool. I thought we were Diablo Immortal brothers, And I guess not, So you really don't know how somebody is, And to anyone who says, oh, well, you didn't show up and that's it. Well, is okay, fine. But is that, I didn't show up for day 4. We weren't in the position of winning the whole thing anyway, not even close. And what's it called? This guy, I guess pretended to be my friend or something. And his true colors, his true colors came out. He's probably gonna watch this video, probably, but or maybe not. But anyways, even if I didn't show up for the match, a match that for the Bout of Realms that there was no chance for us to win anyway with that team, is that enough to fucking remove me from your friends list and block me? Right? It's a good thing he did that, because now I know how he is. I mean, I wish I was making this shit up. You can never tell with people. That's why I have trouble trusting people sometimes, because this kind of shit happens. If he is gonna be tripping about me not making a Bout of Realms that we're not even gonna have a chance to fucking even be competitive in, then what the hell's he tripping about? He could have just picked up some people also randomly, and they would have been continuing to play the boar, and which they did, right? And the team got, I think, in the top 50, or let me see here. The team got, I'm looking right here. Let's see, because they kept playing. The team got top 50. Okay, so they made top 50. I was part of it for 4 days, and they were able to at least make the top 50 in the on the server list, which isn't bad for considering the fact that we didn't have a full team. We just kept picking up randoms last minute before the match started. So, anyways, right? I ain't tripping about it, but I'm just sharing my experience on how this all went down. So, yeah, that's the Bout of Realms, Challenge of Equals event, the very first one. So, my message to all the top teams, not just in NA East, but in the West, and maybe even in EU, if you guys are interested, like if you guys really want to win the entire thing, if you guys really want to win, your best possible chance of winning the entire thing, if it's a fair play tournament, right, is to recruit me. If I don't make a team of my own with 7 other players that share my vision of wanting to win and understanding who I am in this game, then it'll be I would have to join a top team, right? That's just how it goes. Either I make a team or I join a top team, right? And if a top team doesn't like me because my reputation or whatever, because they have this stupid perception of me, an invalid perception of me. Maybe they think I'm bragging and boasting too much, or maybe they don't even believe what I'm saying. Then, I'm not going to be able to join that team. So it is what it is. I ain't tripping. Like I said, the Bout of Realms shit doesn't dictate shit. It's, for one, all the freaking Bout of Realms were unlegit anyway, right? Let's be honest here, right? A couple of them, all of them, right? All of them were unlegit. Pay to win. On the first couple Bout of Realms, right? It was pay to win, right? So that shit was unlegit. And then this one here, the first Challenge of Equals, this one was, everybody had different stats still. I mean, look at this shit. 11.3K net differential. I mean, come on. Nobody's going to do that in fair play PvP. In Conquer PvP rules, that shit ain't going to happen, no matter how good the team is. Right? Because in Conquer PvP, people are dying left and right, because the damage is going crazy on everybody. It's all normalized. People are going to get killed in there in the game, in those matches. And that's the thing with Conquer PvP. Don't get me wrong, Conquer PvP isn't perfect either. Conquer PvP, people are going to exploit. People are going to abuse freaking one-shot builds. One-shot untargetable builds, right? So, unless they nerf that shit, then it's going to keep going like that Like right now, the monks, for example, right? The monks in Conquer PvP is just they're out of control, right? It's been going on for a long time now. I don't know why Blizzard hasn't fixed that. Every time I fight a monk that knows what they're doing, they're freaking just exploding palm or whatever the fuck that is, where they just freaking start disappearing and shit, and they're untargetable. They become transparent and shit, and then as soon as that happens, I just die, one shot it, so that's bullshit. But of course, on their side, they're gonna abuse that shit because the broken build because they're allowed to. So Conquer PvP isn't without its flaws either. But the thing is, you're not gonna die because the player had higher stats than you. In this case, now the issue would be people are getting killed right away because of the broken one-shot build mechanics, right? The broken one-shot untargetable skills, the broken one-shot untargetable builds that are out there. And that can be fixed if Blizzard is able to hear the feedback from the players. And it should be to where they shouldn't there shouldn't be any one-shot builds possible, There shouldn't be one-shot builds possible because there's no skill in that, So hopefully they fix it. If not, then it's just going to continue to be the way it is in Conquer PvP. But like I said, if they make Bout of Realms exactly like Conquer PvP, just give it 8 gear slots and 8 set items and everything else exactly like Conquer PvP rules, then we already know who's going to win that shit, If I have a team that knows how to play the game, they don't have to be great players either. They can just be regular average players. As long as they communicate on Discord VC, in Discord voice chat, and they have some basic understanding of how to play the game, then we have more than great chances to win the entire thing. Right? Because I'm the number 1 player of the game. So that's what it is. And people doubt me and shit, and then they don't understand. They don't understand what I'm saying. Do you guys honestly think like this is now? I'm gonna talk about this I'm gearing this towards my haters because I have haters out there for whatever reason. You honestly believe like not just the haters, but the people who don't believe in what I'm saying, right? Because maybe not even the haters, because the haters know I'm the truth when I'm talking, right? That's why they're hating on me because they know I'm not lying. But for the people who doubt me, right? For the people who doubt me, I don't gotta worry about the haters doubting me because they know that I'm the truth in this shit. They know I'm telling the truth. I'm saying the truth here. So maybe this isn't even geared to the haters. This is geared towards the doubters, right? If you're a doubter on what I'm saying, when I say I'm the number 1 player of the entire game, or when I say I'm Diablo of the entire franchise, right? Whatever. Have you actually watched how I play the game? Or are you just doubting just for the heck of it? Hating and doubting just for the heck of it. Like, if you actually watch how I play the game, then you're going to know that I'm saying the truth. I don't get these people. I really don't. I really don't understand, How are you going to doubt somebody who has proof for years? Right? I've been saying this shit for years. I have a shitload of matches, hundreds and hundreds of matches of getting most kills with the least amount of resonance, very low resonance. I'm at 1.2k res right now, right? 1230 res. 1 and 2 star gems equipped. No charm, no runes, no familiars, no ancient gear. You see where I'm going with this? And I'm talking about the battlegrounds, right? In Conquer PvP, that's different, right? I am running 5-star gems in battle in Conquer PvP because that's what people do, right? Everybody has rank 10s on them, and for fair play PvP practices, I run the 5-star gems. I don't even run a whole six set because you have 6 gear slots, 6 gem slots. I run 4 5-star gems and then 2 2-star gems in Conquer PvP, right? This is my loadout right here. Let me go here real quick. And let's see what we got here. Let's see here. So, where's Conquer PvP? You see, so in Conquer PvP, I run 4 5-star gems, right? The Blood-Soaked Jade, Roiling Consequence, Bottled Hope, Colossus Engine, Viper's Bite, and Pain Clasp. And the other 2 don't matter because they're not included. So that's what it is, y'all. Right? But in Battlegrounds, this is the loadout right here, which is something that nobody does. Right? And let's be honest here. How many people play the game like this? Barely, if not any. I haven't seen it. If you go on YouTube right now, go look for Diablo Immortal YouTubers that upload their PvP matches, and their gear is exactly like this, right? No 5-star gems, just equipping 1 and 2-star gems. No runes, no familiars, no charm, no ancient gear, no nothing. My normal gems, I'm running 5s and 6s. You see? Rank 6 Torms, Tourmalines, rank 6 Citrines, rank 6 Sapphires, you know? It's all rank 6s, rank 4s. Rank 6s, 4s, and 5s pretty much, I believe. Yep, 5s right there. See 6s and 5s. And you guys get the idea. Look, there's a 3 right there. You see, so I don't want to hear it, you know? You don't understand Diablo Immortal PvP like the way I do, because you don't play the game how I play the game. You see, if you can get a bunch of kills and MVPs with this kind of gear equipped and with this kind of resonance equipped, then you can start talking and be in the mix of this conversation. But if you're equipping 5-star gems, charms, runes, familiars, what else is out there? Shit. If you're equipping 5-star gems, charms, runes, familiars, ancient gear, and whatever else people equip in the battlegrounds, because that's how the game is intended to play, well then you have no say in this. You have no say on this topic on who the number 1 player is of the game. You see? Because there's a player out there that does all this shit without that shit equipped at only 1230 resonance. You see? So if you don't do it like that, then you have no say in this because you're playing the game with extra shit on. You need all that extra shit, all the extra gear and other stuff in order to get your kills in the battleground, where I don't. And that's the difference. Okay? And that's the truth. Now you guys can talk shit about my personality and say, oh, this guy is not humble at all and none of that shit and all that shit. But I'm just being honest here, y'all. Okay? I'm being honest here. People are so quick to judge and doubt, but do they really understand the story here? Do they really understand? Or are they just hating? Are they coming from a point of hate, from a place of hatred? You know, maybe they're envious or jealous of my PvP skills, or, you know, he should be more humble and shit. I'm like, dude, I am humble. I'm just talking about the truth. Right? You got people who are doubting me, and I'm giving them proof. So what else are we talking about here? What's the problem? See, the problem is they even though when shown proof, they still, for some reason, they're gonna hate, because that's just how people are. For whatever reason. Whatever horseshit reason, right? The teams like the Globetrotters, for example, and the other top teams, not just in this Bout of Realms Challenge of Equals, but the other Bout of Realms that were pay to win, they do not play the game how I play the game, right? They are playing on the easiest of settings, right? Because the higher remember, resonance equals handicap, right? So the higher the resonance, the higher the handicap player is, right? And what does that mean? That means that, you know, they're playing the game on easy mode, right? That's what it means. So they're thinking, oh, I'm welling out. I got 10K, 11, 12, 11, 12, 13K res. But the real shit, right? The reality, I'm not talking about their bankroll, none of that shit. That's a whole different topic. We're talking about PvP reality, right? The PvP shit in the nerd video game world of PvP. They're playing the game on easy mode. Okay? What I'm doing here, this is hardcore mode. Okay? Look at that, 1.2K res, right? 1230 res, 1230 resonance. I got nothing equipped except my 1 and 2 star gems and my normal gems. And look what I can do in the battlegrounds against players double, triple my resonance at times. And if it's similar resonance, I'll forget it. I'll get 20 kills like it's nothing, you know. And in Conquer PvP, you guys already know what I'm doing there, you know. So, come on, let's be honest here. Let's be real here, you know. So, anyways, I'm gonna wrap it up here. You know, again, I don't want to rage bait people or anything like that. I'm not here to try and rage bait people. Okay, they might interpret that as rage bait, but this is me just saying the truth. Okay, right? If you think you're a good Diablo Immortal player, you know, and you're trying to compare yourself to what I'm doing, or if you equip 5-star gems, you're already out of the discussion. If you equip runes, you're out of the discussion. If you equip charms, familiars, ancient gear, whatever, if you equip any of the extra stuff, you are out of the discussion of being the number one player. Because I'm doing all this shit without that. Okay? So, hopefully you guys are starting to get the picture on why I'm saying what I'm saying. Right? Because I get annoyed. I get annoyed by these people. Right? They're just hating just for the shits and giggles. You know? That's how they get their shits and giggles, by trying to hate on me and saying stupid comments, you know, stupid hate comments, you know, that makes them look stupid. Do you think the players who play me in the in battlegrounds that are playable or in Conquer PvP matches, do you think that they think I'm trolling? No. They know I'm exactly who the fuck I'm say I am, you know? They know firsthand because they are witnesses to what I can do in this game, you know? So what I'm going with here is what I'm trying to say here, guys, is that the reason why I'm so good at the game, right? Not just in this one, but in other games like FC Mobile, for example, which is the soccer game on the phone. You know, the reason why I'm able to have this high PvP skill is because I play on hardcore mode pretty much, right? I'm playing with the least amount of gear possible just to even play the game, right? So in this case, right, and for example, in FC Mobile, the soccer game, you know, I play with the gold team, which is the team that started from 2 years ago when the game launched, when the game reinvented itself to FC Mobile, and then that was like the base team, the base cards that you can get, right? The gold cards for the players, the gold player cards, right? That was like back in 2024, and we're 2026 now. 2 years of cards of player cards that have been shown, that have been updated, and people are getting those, right? Because that's the current cards to get. Where I'm still using a gold team, and I'm able to win sometimes versus the players who have 2 years of power advantage than my team. You see? Okay, now that's FC Mobile. We can talk about that for a different video. In this one, I don't equip any of the intended gear, like 4 or 5 different types of gear intended in the game, and I'm able to compete when the game's playable. Not just compete, but actually dominate. You see, so that's the kind of player you're going up against when you're playing against me, you know, in PvP matches that are playable. or fair play. Right? How many times do you guys think I've been one-shotted from a guy who has more resonance or higher stats than me? How many times do you think that's happened to me? Especially when the game first came out. Or even now, right? If the match is unplayable, if I can't do damage, and if I can't do damage to the player, and then he just hits me with a one shot, then that's it. You know, it's stupid. You see what I'm saying? So that's the secret. That's my secret. If you guys wanted to know how to do this, then you know that's how I do it. I play the game in hardcore mode. I play the game in hardcore mode by doing that, and if you guys want to have an idea, I recommend play the game just how I play the game. Play it exactly like how I play the game, and then you will see for yourselves what I'm going through on how to play the game how I play the game, and you'll see right away the difference of playing the game in hardcore mode, pretty much. So that's my advice if you guys want to try it out. And you will see by doing it like this, then you will see how your skills will improve, your PvP skills will improve. And then if you want to equip your regular gear again and all that, then you'll be just that much of a better player, you know. You'll see a major improvement in your skills. If you guys care enough to do that shit, but most people don't, right? So that's my 2 cents, y'all. That's my 2 cents on the whole challenge of equals. This is my review on it, my thoughts. These are my thoughts on the Bout of Realms, challenge of equals, and the Bout of Realms in general, right? It doesn't prove anything if the PvP stats aren't the same. It's not legit if the PvP stats are not exactly the same. And yeah, the teams that are whales and that have all the maximum type of gear equipped, they're going to get these kind of numbers here. This kind of net differential than everybody else, right? Like I said, I'm not taking anything away from them as far as their teamwork and all that, but you know, they're hitting people harder than other people are hitting them with the damage and the shields and shit, right? And that's real. That's me being real about it. So anyways, y'all, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, my rant video, my rant video on the challenge of equals board tournament that just happened recently. And yeah, you know, stay tuned for some more Diablo Immortal videos in the future. I'm gonna be playing another game also, and yeah, look out for that stuff. You know, with me and Diablo Immortal, it's kind of a love-hate relationship. You know, and you know there are times when I have to get off the game. You know, for my mental well-being, because there's shit out there that you know I get pissed off about, and you know, I just gotta sometimes get away from the game sometimes, you know, because I'm the king of the game, you know, and you know, people are gonna say that I'm a troll. People are gonna say I'm stupid, or I have no idea what I'm saying. But if they honestly believe that, then they're the ones that are trolling. You see, I'm not lying here. Blizzard, if you guys are hearing me, if you guys can see these videos that I'm posting, holla at your boy, man, because I'm Diablo. You have a 30 year, a 30 plus year, or 25 plus year. I think it was the franchise has been out for over 30 years. 30 years later, a number one PvP player has publicly been saying that he's the number one player, that he's Diablo himself. And, you know, why wouldn't you want to talk to me? You know, you should talk to me, Blizzard. I'm Diablo. I'm going to say it again. I am Diablo. Now let's fucking make something clear real quick here. I am not saying like I said in my previous videos, I'm not claiming to be a Diablo from a religion. Okay? I'll make that very clear. I'm not trying to say that I am a Diablo from a religion. I don't want to get hate from religions saying that I'm trying to claim to be Diablo of a religion. No, I'm not saying that. The game franchise is called Diablo. The franchise game that's made by Blizzard Entertainment. It just so happens to be called Diablo, and because I am the #1 PvP player, that's why I am claiming the title of the main character of the franchise, which is called Diablo. That's the only relation with that, you know. It's a pure coincidence that the game is called Diablo. You see? So that's what I'm saying. Okay? So it's a video game. It's a video game. It's a video game franchise made by Blizzard Entertainment, and that's it. It's a work of fiction. Okay? And me calling myself Diablo, that's just pure coincidental. That's pure coincidence. You know, because I'm the #1 player of the franchise. Okay, it's a multi-billion-dollar franchise, right? In Blizzard, from Blizzard Entertainment. So Blizzard, you know, look, I get it. You know, I understand how this all looks. Like I'm bragging and boasting, and you know, I gotta eat some humble pie, as they say. I understand that. Believe me, I do. But this is me trying to reach out to you guys. You know, this is the way how I do it. This is the way how I do it, and how else am I supposed to do it? You know, I try to talk to you guys. I try to call the Blizzard number. They sent me to an email that, you know, nothing happened there, and I did the whole Discord stuff, trying to talk to the who's who and all that, and all the Diablo creators and shit that I can find, you know, and talk to, and you know, they're hard to reach. Some of them don't want to talk to me, even though they know it's me, and they don't want to say it publicly. But there are creators out there that do believe in my story, and yeah, you know, I just want to talk to you guys. You know, go to Blizzard headquarters, talk about all this. You know, then you know we can definitely talk, and you know, I'll share my story. You guys can help guide me on the vision of what you guys want the Diablo show to be. You know, of course, I'm gonna be myself. You know, and nobody can tell me otherwise. But you know, I'll definitely try to be more professional. And as long as you guys help me, then I'll be able to know what the plan is. Right? Then I'll go to BlizzCon, do the meet and greets, you know, talk to the fans, promote the games. And yeah, it'll be a fun time. I mean, somebody had to do it. Why do you guys think I'm doing this? Do you guys really think I would go and put myself out like this on the internet and say all this crazy shit if it wasn't the truth? If I didn't believe it was 100% the truth? I didn't have to do this, right? You know, some people will say, oh, I'm embarrassing myself and this and that. No, because if it's the truth, then what's going on? You know, what are they going to say if it's the truth? If it's the truth, then, you know, it's the fucking truth. No one can say otherwise, because I know very well. Believe me, I know, because I am that guy. I am the guy that can claim all this shit. It's an outrageous claim. Like, oh my god, he's Diablo from the entire Diablo franchise. Oh my fucking god, that's blasphemy. He's lying. He's lying. Come on now. You guys really think I would set myself up for that kind of embarrassment if it wasn't true? Hopefully you guys would think I'm a little bit smarter than that. You know? I'm stupid, not retarded. You know what I'm saying? So, come on. Anyways, Blizzard, holla at your boy, man. All right, SurgicalSnipes is Diablo. I'm SurgicalSnipes. So, what are we waiting on here? What are we waiting on here, Blizzard? Holla at your boy, man. All right, let's go to freaking Blizz HQ. We'll talk, and we'll make it happen. Right, the right way. And that's it, y'all. That's what I have for y'all from this video. You know, it's almost an hour long. I'm going to cut it off here, you know. I'm losing my voice again, you know. And yeah, we'll keep going. You know, we'll keep going. We'll see what the future holds. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, well, at least you guys know that there was a guy out there that could claim the title of being called Diablo and the #1 player and all that bullshit. And, you know, we'll keep going. All right, y'all. That's it, y'all. SurgicalSnipes signing off. I'll see you in the next one.